into the Jordan brand part of it. I thought that would be Nike's biggest selling.
Yeah, I think most of those are just ego. When you have a shoe like LeBron, the way he's established it, and Jordan, why would I want to compete? These guys just do it like for, oh, once I get to the league, I want my own shoe. But I believe that the basketball shoes are better, the LeBrons are better, and the Jordans are better to wear for his feet, for his career.
Your idea that he could have become the first LeBron athlete, because LeBron doesn't have anyone that signed under him like Jordan brand, was a really good one because of his size and the bulk
Yes.
on him. Are you surprised he didn't just sign with the Steph Curry sneakers, see?
No, he's not going to be cutting grass for a living.
What about Shaq?
He's playing basketball. I mean, can you get them in the United States? Goodness gracious, those things are made overseas somewhere. Didn't we ban those things?
Time now for stories to start your morning. Ian Rappaport reporting that Melvin Gordon will be holding out as the Chargers arrive at camp today. The Pro Bowl running back will be subject to fines, and contract talks are expected to halt as the team focuses on the running backs at camp. All right, Cris Carter, how do you see this one playing out?
It's not going to end well. It's going to be a major distraction there for the Chargers. They're not going to pay him. They've been doing this for a long time. They're not in love with Melvin Gordon at those prices for a running back, so he's going to have to play it out, and I believe that potentially he can be franchised after the season, or you have to hit free agency, but I don't believe the Chargers will pay him.
I think it's going to end up with Melvin Gordon playing under the terms of his current deal, a few $100,000 lighter due to fines for missed time. It's unfortunate for him. I don't think he has the leverage. I also don't think he has the sustained level of excellence to be able to make these types of demands. I'm all for everyone getting paid. I think he might be overplaying his hand in this spot, though, particularly by not showing up for camp.
All right, moving on to Seattle now. Linebacker Bobby Wagner seeking a new deal, but he says he'll attend training camp and will be cautious until he has a new contract. Nick, you like this approach?
Well, it seems like exactly what you recommended Melvin Gordon do, and other guys that are in this situation. Show up, but be careful. If you're not comfortable playing in the preseason games, don't do it. This is the route you would recommend guys take in this spot, correct?
Well, only if you're Bobby Wagner now. Bobby Wagner is a special football player now. There are not two linebackers in this league, middle, that are better than him. For years, he's been underrated, running that defense, also running that locker room with all those personalities. He's the last one to get paid, and he's been the most dependable defender since he's been the starting linebacker for the Seahawks. The other people, they're not as good. Ezekiel Elliott and him have the same type of resume. Bobby's been doing it longer, but Melvin Gordon, him, no. They're both out west. That's about the same. They're both in the NFL. No, he can't do what Bobby Wagner's doing.
All right, finally, Dallas got some great news yesterday. All-Pro center Travis Frederick is expected to be back in 2019. Frederick missed all of last year dealing with an immune system disorder. All right, Nick, what's the ceiling for the Cowboys if they are at full strength?
Last year, they were carried by their defense this entirety of the season. In the second half of the season, the offense did its part. They had a top 10, I think the 7th-ranked scoring defense, 6th-ranked yardage defense, and an offense in the second half of the year approached that top 15. If you get that level of offensive production to go along with where they were defensively, that second half of the season level, there's no reason this team can't be in the NFC Championship game, somewhere they haven't been in 20 seasons. There's no reason they can't, for the first time since the mid-90s, which is unbelievable, win playoff games in back-to-back years. Like, this is the year for the Cowboys. They have a superstar running back. They have a very good wide receiver. They have a quarterback that, while limited, does not kill you and can make big plays in big spots. With Travis Frederick back, they should get back to being who they had been the previous few years, which is the best offensive line, or certainly a top 3 offensive line in football, and they've spent the money on the defense. So at full strength, with Zeke in the fold, with Travis Frederick back, with Dak not playing like he did the first half of last year, this Cowboys team should be in the discussion for one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the NFC, which means you're right there to potentially get past the divisional round, which they haven't done in nearly 25 years, and have it be a game away from a Super Bowl. To me, I don't think they're a Super Bowl champion team, but could they be one of the teams playing in the second to last weekend of the year? Absolutely, if it all falls right and they have all those guys in the fold.
With Travis Frederick coming back, it's something specifically healthy, he's the best center in football, and not just a blocker. His overall athleticism, I would say him and the center for New England are 1 and 2. So what does it allow them to do? They struggled last year in the red zone. His backup, he was adequate, but he's not a star. Travis Frederick, he will not be overwhelmed in the red zone. They would get in the gap next to the center guard, and they would overwhelm them in the red zone, get penetration, take them out of their running game, and cause the quarterback problems. He's also a veteran. He's going to help your quarterback get better, because with the line calls and the pass protection, it should give Dak more comfort. And Dak doesn't have to assume all the responsibility that he had last season. They should share in that. And Travis is such a good athlete. He's not your normal center. Normal centers, they are good to the right and to the left, but he's great in space. He can pull on a run and be able to get the edge to be able to get you a running hole. And in the screen game, he is one of the best in the business as far as setting it and getting outside for Ezekiel Elliott or someone else to be able to break free. So at full strength, if their line can return to being one of the top 3 offensive line, Pro Football Focus has them ranked, if Travis is healthy, number 2. But if they can be a top 3 offensive line, I said it yesterday, when they win time of possession, when they play less than 30 minutes, their defense was 8-0. So Travis Frederick in that offense, it plays a huge part in how Dallas, and if they're going to have Super Bowl aspirations, that undersized defense has got to play a little bit of time so they can be quick, force some turnovers. But Travis Frederick coming back, he is a star in the NFL, and there are only a few stars that we have on the offensive line.
Well, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but the same conversation we had with Melvin Gordon. Yeah, if at full strength, this team is potentially Super Bowl bound or playoff bound, but how much of a distraction is going to be all those contract talks and
they're all showing up right
stuff?
now.
They are.
I mean, we don't know what Zeke's going to do, but there's no.
They're all under contract.
And Amari's not holding out. Dak's not holding out. And we'll see what happens with Zeke. Like, yes, if some of their best players are not there, then most notably Zeke, then to me, they go from being a team that could make the NFC Championship. Without Zeke, I don't think they're a playoff team. I think he is that important. He's the most talented player on their team. But the ability of this team to have a dominant, and I know it's the most boring part of the team to talk about, offensive line is, I mean, they have a all-pro left tackle. They spent a second-round pick last year on their left guard, Connor Williams. Travis Frederick's the best center in football, or was, before he missed a year. Zach Martin was in the discussion for the best guard in football. And the right tackle, La'el Collins, is going to make a lot of money by either the Cowboys next offseason or somebody else. He had an odd draft situation, made him fall to where he was available with the Cowboys. If those guys all play to their abilities, then even if Dak plays poorly, he can't kill you. We know Zeke will have the open running holes. And so that's where this team's at its best. That's where they were at their best in 2016. Was that offensive line crushed people? I think Travis Frederick, I think Chris's point on what Dak had to do pre-snap without having Travis there, the adjustment to the new center at the beginning of the year, I think that's an important part. And if he's back with that, how much easier that makes Dak's job, I think that's a critical part for the Cowboys this upcoming season.
All right, let's pause and move to the NBA now. The LA Lakers' quest to help LeBron get a title in year 17 was predicated on filling out the rest of their roster to its fullest potential. Well, they're just about there, but according to reports, the Lakers are keeping one roster spot open for Andre Iguodala if he gets bought out of his deal in Memphis. See, how much better would Iggy make the Lakers right now?
He makes every team better. I don't know why just the Lakers. If he goes to the Clippers, he makes them better. Any of the teams in the West, he makes them better. Man, he is a quality basketball player, a quality human being, a guy that's been through ups and downs. His resume is hard to match. He's been an all-star. He's been a reserve. He's been on the championship as a starter. He's been on championship as a reserve. He's a great defender. He's helped calm some of the stuff that's going on in Golden State behind the scenes. His teammates like him. I haven't heard anybody say anything about him. And he's a tough guy. LeBron, I'm sure LeBron, this is what he wants. I don't want him to be guarding me. We get into a series.
Right.
All right? Now, could you imagine the rotation of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Iggy on LeBron? No, did you see the reaction of LeBron when Kawhi checked into the game when he was with the Heat? Oh, he'd be saying triple over. Oh, him. Like, no, it is not a good matchup. I'd much rather have him on my team fighting against them with his overall experience. And especially, you're going to have some moments during the season. He's a guy that I want in my troop because I know he's going to be a calming force and he has answers to real NBA questions. Leave him open, he can knock down shots, but that overall leadership, to me, when you have all these teams that are equally matched, a guy like him becomes more important than he was the last several years, and he was very important there in Golden State.
And a guy who knows exactly what his role is, has removed the ego about starting after